So now we will discuss alligator and fractals trading strategy, the combination of two indicators. So this strategy is part of Williams' Profitunity trading strategy. So the Profitunity as a whole could be a bit complicated for beginner traders, but the alligator and the fractals trading strategy will suit traders of any level. So overall, the fractals indicator perfectly complements the alligator. The combined application of the two Williams indicators provide accurate entry points, with the fractal tools serving as an additional filter. You enter a trade at the fractal breakout when the market trend has already acquired a direction. And this is a trend following strategy where you spot the moments when the price momentum begins and try to enter at the momentum inception. So when the market is trading flat, neither the alligator alone nor the combination with fractals will not work. So the strategy works on, of course, any financial instrument, be it Forex, commodities or cryptocurrencies. So the best time frames to apply are H1, H4 and D1. In shorter time frames, there will be many signals, but the quality of such signals will be very bad. A lot of market noise, a lot of false. So, also worth mentioning, when using the W1, the weekly time frame, you will have to expect any entry signal for weeks or even months. So now, let's move on to settings. Let us see the optimal settings to trade with the alligator and the fractals indicators on the H1 timeframe, which allows us to trade intraday or hold trades for even 3 days. So I recommend using the following settings for the alligator indicator. As for the jaws, period 21, shift into the future 13. As for the teeth, period 13 and shift into the future by 8 candles. The lips, as for the period 8 and shift into the future by 5 candles. And by the way, you can choose the colors and the thickness of the lines as you want. The most important is that it is comfortable for you to analyze the chart and the indicator doesn't prevent you from seeing candles. So, the fractals indicator looks like an arrow above the Japanese candlesticks up or below the candlesticks down. On the chart, it indicates the high or low of the price. An upward fractal will form after several conditions are fulfilled. First one is the highs of the two first candlestick increase. The third candlestick has a high above the previous ones. Next is that the fourth and fifth candlesticks have successively decreasing highs. So after that, a fractal icon is formed at the highest price. Naturally, for the formation of a downward fractal, the opposite conditions should be met. The fractals indicator does not require setting parameters, you only need to set the display color and size of the icons. Okay, now let's move on and discuss trade orders. To enter a buy trade, the alligator should be waking up, meaning the lip line should break through the teeth line upside and the teeth line should cross the jaw line from bottom to the top. So this will signal that there should be an entry point to open a position following an uptrend. Next, you need to find the two nearest fractals, one upper fractal and the second the lower one. So you wait for the moment when the hourly candlestick breaks through the last formed upward fractal and closes above the high. At this moment, you open a buy position. As for stop loss and take profit, first of all, we determine the place of a placing stop loss. It is placed below the low of the last formed descending fractal. So we calculate the take profit price in such a way that the distance from the trade entry point is twice as long as the distance to the stop loss. So there are other variations of setting take profit, like at the breakthrough of any significant high, at a distance 3 times greater than the stop loss, at a strong level of a longer time frame, etc. I usually use 2 times the stop loss distance because a profit 2 times larger than the potential stop, I think it's not bad and you shouldn't be greedy. Simple and effective. I do it for most of the strategies that I use, and so I think overall it is a good risk-reward ratio. On the other side, to enter a sell trade, the alligator lines should start sloping down and the alligator should be waking up. The lip line should be below the teeth and the teeth should be below the jaw. The price should be trading below all the alligator lines. And so, next we look at the last two formed fractals, an upward and a downward one. Wait until the hourly candlestick breaks through the most recent downward fractal and closes below. We open a sell position at this moment. A stop loss is set above the high of the most recent upward fractal, and the take profit is set at the distance twice as much that of the stop loss. What also can be done after our trade is, for example, moving in the right direction, is to move the stop loss to the break-even level. So, the trade is moved to the break-even according to these principles. When the jaw line, the blue one, is below the entry price for a sell trade and above the entry price for a buy trade. Why you should move the order to the break-even zone in this case? Simply it is because the jaw line is responsible for the trend border in the time frame you trade. If the line is broken out, the trend is likely to change. So in this case, you should look for an entry in the opposite direction. There is no point in holding the trade even if the stop loss is set beyond the blue line. So what we can also do is close the position manually, since the strategy suggests not every trade will reach the set take profit. And it is of course a normal situation that can happen. When the market conditions change unexpectedly, traders usually tend to exit trades manually. So therefore we can do it, but under several conditions. The first one, when the alligator falls asleep. This pattern of indicator behavior suggests that the trend has been exhausted and it is not clear whether it will continue in the future. It is better not to risk, and when a new signal appears in the same direction, enter simply into a new trade. Next condition is when the price breaks through the jaws line. This indicates a possible trend change. If the price consolidates above the jaws blue line and continues to move in a new direction, the alligator lines will begin to rebuild and indicate a new direction for trading. Some traders close the trade manually if the instrument reaches the important and strong level on the longer time frame. So another reason to exit a trade manually is if the price passes the average daily move, and so this one is suitable for intraday traders. But there also could be other conditions. Here everything becomes individual and you should act according to your trading system. There are also some additional conditions to enter trades which we should mention as well. So the first one is when the candlestick on which the signal fractal was formed should not touch the alligator indicator lines. If the candlestick on which the fractal was formed touches the alligator, then such a fractal is considered invalid, and the signal is not tradable. So to enter a buy trade, the price must be above all indicator lines. To enter a sell trade, the price must be below all indicator lines. Now let's go through the best alligator indicator settings which I was talking about earlier. Different alligator indicator settings apply to trading in different time frames. I should also note that the higher the time frame, the more reliable the signals generated will be, although there will be fewer of them. And vice versa. The shorter the time frame, the smaller one, the smaller the time frame is, the more there will be signals. But on the other hand, the false signals will be numerous. And so, settings for H1 time frame and shorter, since this is the optimal time frame for short-term trading with a trade holding time period of 1 to 5 days, where a moderate amount of market noise combined with a frequent and clear signals for currency pairs makes it possible to focus on a few popular instruments and trade without psychological stress. So the best alligator settings for the H1 time frame are for the jaws 21 period and shift 13 into the future. The teeth period is 13 and shift by 8 bars in the future. The lips period is 8 and shift by 5 periods into the future. On the time frames of 4 hour and higher, there is less market noise, therefore more reliable trading signals from any Forex indicator appears. The drawback is that it takes more time to wait for the signal. To compensate for this disadvantage, the Alligator indicator should be used with the standard parameters recommended by Bill Williams. The Jaws period should be 13 and shifted by 8 bars into the future. Teeth period should be 8, shifted by 5 bars in the future, and lips period should be 5 and shifted 3 bars in the future. There are generally accepted Alligator settings. Any MetaTrader terminal offers such parameters by default. As for settings for M5 timeframe, you can apply the Alligator with the standard parameters of 13, 8 and 5. But there will be many false signals in this case, so you will need additional tools, for example oscillators or the fractal indicator, to filter out false signals. But let's go the other way and take the periods even longer than with the settings for the H1 timeframe. So we shall take the following numbers from the Fibonacci sequence: 34 for the period and 24 for the shift into the future. Alligator optimal settings for a 5-minute time frame therefore will be, as for the Jaws, 34 period as I said and shift 21 to the future. Teeth period will be 21 and shifted by 13 bars into the future, and lips period will be 13 and shifted by 8 bars into the future. So in this case there is a slow indicator but the fast time frame. So these settings reduce the market noise and filter signals. With these settings you will get a couple of reliable signals for day trading, which is still good for a day trader. So, slowly summing up the topic, we must note that if you want to adjust Alligator settings to different time frames, you should perfectly understand this indicator's work principles. It should be borne in mind that the shorter the time frame, the greater values should be set for the indicator formula. The longer the time frame, the smaller the values can be set into the formula. So you need to change the Alligator indicator parameters to filter false signals and reduce the influence of market noise. Also remember, before applying the new Alligator parameters in real trading, you need to test them on a demo account or on historical data. A manual strategy tester will suit it perfectly. So let's go now through pros and cons of Alligator trading indicator. We all know that it allows a trader to define the ongoing market trend, it generates the entry points at the momentum inception and signals trend exhaustion. You can also think that the Alligator is a complete trading strategy, but it is not so. You need additional filters to detail the entry and exit points. For example, you can employ oscillators or other tools such as fractals or price action patterns, so like volume indicators and so on. But here you have listed the primary advantages and the disadvantages of the Alligator for you to decide if the Alligator trading strategy suits you or not. Firstly, let's begin with the pros. First one is that it identifies different types of the trends in the market. Then it indicates dynamic support and resistance levels. Next point is that it indicates the market state, the trend flat and the end of the flat. Next point is that it allows you to enter a trade at the beginning of the momentum. Then it indicates the exit points. And it is user-friendly, suitable even for beginners. At the end, it is included in most trading platforms by default. Now we move on to cons. So first one is, to make up a profitable trading system, you need to be able to combine the Alligator with other indicators. Next, you need additional entry filters. Otherwise, there will be many false signals in the sideways trend. You need to adjust parameters for different timeframes. So it is clear from this that the Alligator has more advantages than disadvantages. It is a straightforward indicator included in most trading platforms by default. This suggests that even a beginner can trade with the Alligator. However, for more profitable and comfortable trading, a newbie will have to master other analytical tools in order to detail entry points and filter false signals. Therefore, Bill Williams' alligator indicator identifies the trend flat and the flat end, which is an undoubted advantage over other indicators that often lag behind and generate a signal when the price has already passed a large number of pips in the chart. It turns out that when trading with the alligator, you take almost the entire trend movement. When you trade with most other indicators, you enter market at the trend ends and could face the risk of the trend reversal and closing a position by stop. On the other hand, a significant flaw is that you need to adjust the alligator parameters for each time frame individually. Of course, you can use default settings. However, with this approach, there will be a lot of signals in short time frames, half of which will be false. On the contrary, in long time frames, there will be fewer signals and you will have to wait for entry signals for a long time. So finally, summing up the pros and cons section, I want to emphasize the following. Alligator is not suitable for all traders. However, I suggest everyone should study and try to use the alligator. At least studying the alligator will be useful for self-development and understanding of working principles. Most of the positive reviews boil down to the fact that the alligator indicator is simple and its signals are clear. There is no double interpretation. It is clear when to open a buy or sell position and when to close. But of course, critics argue that alligator was developed for the stock market a long time ago, that it will not work alone and you will lose your deposit in the flat because it is based on the moving averages, i.e. it is a derivative of the moving averages and the moving averages themselves are already a derivative of the price. As with any analytical tool and any trading strategy, there are many followers and many haters. If there were 100% working instruments, there would be no market and free trade. Therefore, it is only your decision whether to trade with the alligator or not. So, the Williams Alligator is an excellent market analysis tool suitable for both a beginner in trading and an experienced professional trader. Although the indicator was created a long time ago, it still works. It performs quite well in the analysis of any market, Forex, stocks, commodity market, and even cryptocurrencies. And lastly, remember, to increase the performance of trading signals, you should use additional filters such as fractals. Okay, on that note, I will end the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked this one, learned something new, and so I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye bye.